possibility the club are in a relegation battle. Has that dawned on the players now that they're really going to have to be up for the fight?
Yeah, when you have these kind of moments, especially in the big clubs, it's really hard to turn things around, and especially when you don't have a lot of time to train the basics to cope with the difficult moments. So we have to acknowledge our positioning, the way you see the league. Everybody can win everybody, so we have to win games and to focus on surviving.
Just on Joshua Zirkzee, when he came off, I know it was an unpleasant reaction for him to have. When he went into the tunnel, did someone have to go in there and bring him back out, or did he want to be in the dressing room?
He wanted to be, and then he returned in the second half. It was a very difficult moment, and he's a human being, but then he felt the support of the fans in the end, so everything is okay.
Hi Rúben, how do you end this slump?
Sorry?
How do you end this slump, these defeats?
It's really hard. I think it's really hard on everybody, and you can feel it on the pitch. I think we show some improvements in the first games, especially against City and Tottenham, even in Arsenal the first moment. But we are losing that because of the lack of training and the lack of belief after so many losses. Some difficult moments when you suffer some goals in the beginning of the games, and then it's like really hard during all the games. So it's a really tough moment for everybody, and I think the players losing everything, the small things that we try to work on training after one goal, they lose everything because they don't have the base. We don't have time to build the base to cope with the difficult moments, so it's really hard in this moment.
Rúben, is it embarrassing as Manchester United manager that you're talking about relegation?
Yeah, it's also my fault in this moment, because I think the team is not improved. I think is a little bit lost in this moment. So it's a little bit embarrassing to be a Manchester United coach and to lose a lot of games. So, but we have to cope with that difficult moments in the life of everybody. So it's a hard moment.
Cheers.
Rúben, I understand the idea of wanting to have your system and your idea and impose that onto a group of players, but when you don't have the group of players who can play your system, do you not at some point have to compromise and change your system to try and get through this period?
It's like playing with three is more or less the same thing of playing with four. We can change the characteristics. If you play with Ahmad on the winger, could be a little bit different. We had some games that we press in 4-4-2. So I don't see it that way. Of course, the players are not. I didn't choose the players specifically for that position, but that I already knew. So, but I have to sell my idea. If I'm going to change all the time, it's going to be even worse. But I understand that they have a lot of difficulties because they spend 2 years playing one way and then they are playing another. And with a lot of losses, it's really tough on them, and they feel. You can feel it during the game. So even today, when we try to score and we are near to score, was more from them than the organization, you know. So you can feel it, I can feel it, but I have to sell my idea. I don't have another one.
Jamie.
I think everyone respects why you're saying you have to sell the idea. You know, you've got to have a vision. I think everyone respects that. But if you keep on losing, it's impossible to sell the idea.
But
so then what?
If I change the system completely, I don't know if I'm near to win. You know, if I do that and continue to lose, then is worst. So you don't know, I don't know, and I see the game in a different way. It doesn't matter if you are 3 with 5 or with 4. If you know the basics and if you can train that idea, I see the game in this way. So I understand what you are saying. But if I know for sure that changing everything is going to get us near to win games, I will do it.
But could you not have said to them, this is going to be my idea from next season. We're going to have the summer pre-season. We're going to have all that time to work on, which you obviously haven't had. But for the time being, we're going to maybe play a hybrid, sometimes 3-4-3, sometimes a system that you are comfortable with. you know, just to maybe accommodate the difficult
So-
situation you're in.
When you have a change of coach, especially in this type of club, is because they are not winning, and they play specifically in the system they were bought for and choose perfectly for that system. So, in that moment, with the idea with 2 years working in pre-seasons, they were losing. So I'm going to change for that system that I don't believe to change things to win games. It doesn't make sense. So I can understand your ideas. For me, it's more simple than that. What I think is that, of course, you can. If I think the players with the right profile for each position, it will be different. But I have to start now this moment because this team was already in problems. So I have to teach what I know, and that is my focus, and I believe on that.
Laurie.
Do you think you can make any additions in January to this, given the squad wasn't built with this kind of system in mind?
We don't have that possibility in January if we don't take some players. So you know the situation better than I am. So it's not the case that I'm arriving here and I can spend a lot of money changing all the team. You know the situation, so it's not a point to talk about that.
One player in that position though is Marcus Rashford, who said he might be looking for a new challenge. He was on the bench today. Was that a statement by you, or was that you didn't think that he was able to change the game in a positive way for United?
I think about the team. You think about a lot about Marcus. I think about the team. When I'm there, I'm not making a point. I just want to win the game, and you can feel it. I'm talking about the idea and the fight for relegation and etc. And I want to make a point during a game. No, I just want to win the game.
Last question, Rob.
You're obviously taking quite a lot of the responsibility on your own shoulders. You just said there that you were to blame. But did you expect a higher basic level from the players? Because the reason that you're losing all these games is not simply down to a system, is it? It's not just a system thing that's caused the defeat tonight, is it? There are improvements that the players need to make themselves and not, I don't know, hide behind you when they talk about the system all the time.
I'm responsible. I don't like to arrive here and make excuses. I think people are tired of excuses in this club, and I think sometimes I talk about relegation because of that. I think our club needs a shock, needs a shock, and we have to understand that it's a very difficult moment, and we have to fight for the next game and to implement the idea to win games and to have also performance, because I think we are losing some things from the last games.
But do you feel like you're having to protect the players more than perhaps you would like? And because you're only just through the door, it's only been sort of 6 weeks, that maybe you can't come in front of us and say, it's not just my fault, it's they've got to take their share of the responsibility.
I just want to win games. I never watch a coach winning games by not protecting the players. So what I have to say to the players, I say in the dressing room, we're here, I'm responsible, and we'll have to prepare the next game, try to win. We need desperately to win one game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more time, and I'll tell you how many of them actually survive, maybe even the Amorim project.
4 defeats in a row now. Where does this Manchester United team go from here?
It happens very quickly, obviously, in the United Kingdom, as you and I both well know, that the games come thick and fast around the holiday period. And of course, that's what's happening to Manchester United, where United would like it to slow down, please, so they can actually have some time on the training ground to work with his team. I mean, we mentioned it there in the first 45 minutes. It was really embarrassing for Manchester United to be playing at Old Trafford in that way. I mean, they were sitting back and obviously inviting the pressure when they had possession of the ball, giving it very quickly back to Newcastle United, who were very good, by the way, and continuing their trend in the right direction by playing some fantastic football under Eddie Howe. But Newcastle should have been 5-0 up, and I'm not joking you, 5-0 up in the first 45 minutes. Chance after chance after chance. Manchester United, no shots on target. And if you compare the two sides, in the first 45 minutes alone, Adam, Newcastle took 11 shots, and they had an incredible 4 on target, got a couple of goals. United, they took 3 shots. In the first 45 minutes, we showed you a couple of them. And the finishing quality simply wasn't there when they're creating their chances. Defensively, being beaten, obviously by quality today against Newcastle, but not stopping crosses. They were just running around like schoolboys. And you'll remember this, and most people out there who love the beautiful game and have played the beautiful game since they were very young. When you're in the schoolyard and someone has the ball, you normally see every single kid chase that ball. That's what Manchester United looked like in the first 45 minutes. The team's not good enough, and a lot of these players are really struggling right now to show that they even have a future under Amorim.
Chasing shadows rather than the ball. Josh Zirkzee, the number 11 there, he was subbed off after about half an hour. What do you think of that's tough for the player to deal with? We saw him head straight down to the tunnel in those highlights there. What message do you think this sends out to the rest of the team?
Well, I think the message clearly is that this is unacceptable, and if you're not performing well, you will be hooked. I don't think this was a personal dig at Zirkzee. I think tactically it was a move to bring a midfielder on where they were getting absolutely humiliated at Old Trafford. So you've got to make a move, so someone has to come off the field. I think Zirkzee is going to take this pretty hard, though. I mean, he certainly wasn't too happy. He went straight down the tunnel afterwards, and understandably so. I'd be pissed off as well. I certainly wouldn't be too happy with the manager. But right now, United, in that type of form that they're in right now, Amorim's got to try and show some sort of leadership, and some sort of, in my opinion, some sort of leadership where he's saying that this is unacceptable for our football club.
But is this expected, given, I mean, we saw the team there, and the players that are playing? I mean, this just isn't a Manchester United team that we saw 10 years ago, 15 years ago in the golden days. If you were Rúben Amorim, how many of that starting 11, or how many of this squad would you actually keep? Does this just need a complete root and branch, get them all out and start again?
Let's have a look at that starting 11 one more time, and I'll tell you how many of them actually survive maybe even the Amorim project. The problem is you've got obviously long-term contracts, high salaries, and a number of players there who are committed to Manchester United for the future, because they're never going to get that type of money again. You're never going to get these contracts again. But this starting 11, it was good on paper, but still, is it good enough for Manchester United to improve where their standing is? I mean, Højlund, 2 goals on the campaign, as already pointed out there. Nowhere near good enough in 14 appearances. Zirkzee's not a Manchester United player. This guy did well in Italian football, but struggled at Bayern Munich, a club similar stature and size and history. Amad Diallo's done well in periods this season. He's been certainly a shining star, but he's not the future.
For me, he'd be one of the ones, particularly because of his endeavour and the amount that he shows in terms of effort.
Yes.
And you can improve that player. He'd be one of the few that I would keep.
At 22 years old, Ivory Coast international, there's a future there. Onana's the other one that I'd say there's a future is. Martinez, I find it very difficult to criticise him because obviously he's a World Cup winner, but he's not good enough for Manchester United. Maguire's getting too old for Manchester United. De Ligt, an Ajax player, struggled again at Bayern Munich, not good enough for Manchester United. Casemiro and Eriksen, regardless of their history and the success that they have had in world football, whether it be Inter for Eriksen, whether it be Spurs for Eriksen, or whether it be Real Madrid for Casemiro, not good enough. Mazraoui is an Ajax player, not good enough for Manchester United. Diego Dalot gets a lot of credit for what he does for Manchester United. For me, not a fan, never have been a fan of him at Manchester United at all. There's only Onana and Diallo are the 2 players from this starting 11 that I think Manchester United and Amorim should say, hey, you know what, we can actually build around these players. I feel sorry for Onana, you know. This guy's a quality goalkeeper, but he's inevitably going to make mistakes when you receive as many shots as Manchester United do in a game. Last year it was embarrassing. There was only, 1 or 2 clubs who had more shots faced against them than Manchester United. I feel sorry for Onana, but Diallo's done well this season and deserves a real shot.
The tough thing for the fans is you can't do that. You can't just blow it all up and start again. So he's going to have to find a way to get a tune out of a lot of those players.
10-year project, and it might even take, I know he said 5 years, but this is going to take a long time because of the long-term contracts, the financial fair play. It's a mess at Manchester United because what you've got is money going out the door this past summer, 100 million. And I like Lenny Euro as well. He's good, but he's struggling with injury, obviously, to get into the team. But United have got to get rid of players whose values have dropped desperately to be able to spend as
## why Marcus Rashford was included in the Manchester United squad against Newcastle. Marcus Rashford has been called up to the Manchester United squad for the Premier League clash against Newcastle, where he started on the bench. Manager Rúben Amorim provided insights into Rashford's inclusion, emphasising, he is available for selection. The English international's return marks his first appearance in the squad since the Europa League victory over Victoria Plzen on December 12. After being omitted from the last 4 matchday squads, Rashford recently expressed to journalist Henry Winter that he was ready for a new challenge and the next steps. Given United's ongoing issues with injuries and suspensions, Amorim's decision to reintegrate Rashford into the team makes strategic sense. The Portuguese manager reiterated that Rashford is still part of the United setup, ensuring he remains an option. Speaking to Sky Sports before kick-off, Amorim stated, "We have many players unavailable. He's on the pitch every week. I choose my players, and this time, he's here. With Bruno Fernandes suspended, Joshua Zirkzee stepped in to bolster the attack alongside Rasmus Højlund and Ahmad. Ahmad's versatility has been evident, as he has also played as a right-back during Amorim's tenure. When questioned about the tactical shift to field full-backs in wide roles rather than traditional wingers, Amorim explained, "Sometimes it's about making the team more compact, adapting for set pieces, and trying different approaches. We won against City that way, and I believe we can control the game better." Amorim's adaptability in using players' strengths aims to reinforce the squad's overall performance as they look to regain momentum.